everybody. Welcome to another edition of Omnibros Live here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. I'm joined by two fabulous people right up there. Two wonderful co-hosts. Got Comics Guy right there. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Doing pretty well. And over here is the Omnibus Collector. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. It's Wednesday. It's
It's
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So welcome everybody. This show, as usual, covers a whole range of topics, but we wanted to do a little bit something different, not necessarily heavy on the news today, because there's one particular topic that we wanted to talk about. It was supposed to be a news item, but I labeled it sort of like a tribute thing, and we can sort of talk about it. And Lou, you were the one that brought it up, so I'll let you take care of this one for us.
Yeah, man. So it's actually just pull the sponsor real quick while I pull the news story up to get the real details about it.
All right. Well, while we do that, let me remind everybody that this show is sponsored by the fabulous people at InStockTrades.com. Trust me, we're going to talk about a lot of superhero stuff, so you might want to visit InStock Trades, where you can get your favorite collected editions, whether it be an omnibus, trade paperback, hardcover, manga, wherever it may be. If it's a collected edition, you got to in-stock trades, man. That's what you got to do. Up to 50% off and loyalty discounts. Tack on an extra 2% to that. You make $50 or more in your order, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service and wonderful packaging at InStockTrades.com, the official sponsor of Omnibros Live here on YouTube.
Okay. So it is with sad news. For those of you that I don't know how, if you follow anything comic book related, have not heard in the past 2-3 days. It is with sad news that we have to say that unfortunately George Pérez, who is a legendary fixture in the medium, it was diagnosed with a late stage pancreatic cancer, and he's been given 6 months to a year to live. And I'm gonna go ahead and just read the statement that he put out. It's actually pretty lengthy, so I hope you guys don't mind.
No, go for it.
I know that when I first heard the news, I was shocked, to be honest with you. And just reading this statement at work, I immediately started tearing up, man.
Yeah.
It's it hits hard. But he basically said, from George to his fans, friends, and extended family, please read below. This page will serve as a place to connect with George as well as receive updates. Please respect the privacy of George and his family at this difficult time and reach out only through this avenue. He's speaking, of course, through his Facebook. Thank you, and please see below. To all my fans, friends, and extended family, it's rather hard to believe that it's been almost 3 years since since I formally announced my retirement from producing comics due to my failing vision and other infirmities brought on primarily by my diabetes. At the time, I was flattered and humbled by the number of tributes and testimonials given me by my fans and peers. The kind words spoken on those occasions were so heartwarming that I used to quip that the only thing missing from those events was me lying in a box. It was amusing at the time, I thought. Now, not so much. On November 29th, I received confirmation that after undergoing surgery for a blockage in my liver, I have stage 3 pancreatic cancer. It is surgically inoperable, and my estimated life expectancy is between 6 months to a year. I have been given the option of chemotherapy and or radiation therapy, but after weighing all the variables and assessing just how much of my remaining days would be eaten up by doctor's visits, treatments, hospital stays, and dealing with the often stressful and frustrating bureaucracy of the medical system, I've opted to just let nature take its course, and I will enjoy whatever time I have left as fully as possible with my beautiful wife of over 40 years, my family, friends, and my fans. Since I received my diagnosis and prognosis, those in my inner circle have given me so much love, support, and help, both practical and emotional. They've given me peace. There will be some business matters to take care of before I go. I am already arranging my art agent to refund the money paid for sketches that I can no longer finish. Just as a pause right there, I can't imagine anybody at this point would be that much of a dick. They're like, yeah, I still want my money back. If he couldn't finish, I can't imagine anybody doing that. I know that many of you will have questions to ask or comments to make, and rather than fueling the fires of speculation, well-meaning but potentially harmful miscommunication, I will be returning to the arena of social media by starting a new Facebook account where fans and friends can communicate with me or my designated rep directly for updates and clarifications. For media and press inquiries, please use the contact information on this page as well. Please respect the privacy of my wife and family at this time, and use the Facebook page rather than reaching out through other channels. I may not be able to respond as quickly as I would like, since I will be endeavoring to get as much outside pleasure as I can in the time allotted to me, but I will do my best. Kind words would also be greatly appreciated. More details to follow once it's up and running. Well, that's it for now. This is not a message I enjoyed writing, especially during the holiday season, but oddly enough, I'm feeling the Christmas spirit now than I have in many years. Maybe it's because it will likely be my last. Or maybe because I'm enveloped in the loving arms of so many who love me as much as I love them. It's quite uplifting to be told that you've led a good life, that you've brought joy to so many lives, and that you will be leaving this world a better place where you are part of it. To paraphrase Lou Gehrig, some people may think I got a bad break, but today I feel like the luckiest man on the face of the earth. And this was put out December 7th, which this was yesterday that he put this out. It's yeah, man. There was a statement that was released that's a bit different, where he's trying to put together one last huge event where he can get together with fans and he could say goodbyes and stuff like that. Which,
That's
Jesus,
awesome.
yeah, I mean, just fantastic, man. I mean, and it's very hard this day and age, I think, for especially with how quick people are to throw accusations and slander people online and stuff like that. You look online and on Twitter and on Facebook, there's not one single bad thing to be said about the man. Everybody just an outpouring of love, and
Mhm.
everything that you hear about people that have met him is that he is one of the most sweetest and kindest and caring people. Um, and that's not even the man's body of work. I mean, the man's body of work is fucking legendary,
Oh yeah.
absolutely legendary. It's the stuff that most writers and artists dream of having one of George Perez's creations in their lifetime, and the man just insane. I mean, absolutely insane. And I know for me, just personally, and I'm not speaking for Gio here, but we're both Puerto Rican, Gio and I, and we don't have many people in the mainstream media that we can actually look up to. I mean, we got Bad Bunny. That's about it. And who
Oh, oh
like
no, God no.
nobody really looks up to Bad Bunny and Mark Anthony and J Lo. Those are like the three that we have. Um, so it hit me personally because I was like, damn, it fucking sucks, man. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else do you guys want to say. I mean,
First of all, there are a lot of athletes that we can look up to, but yeah, George. I always thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, hey, George Perez. He's Puerto Rican. That's awesome. So obviously, I'm gonna talk about my boy White Tiger. The first, not only did he help create the first Latino character in comics, the first Puerto Rican superhero, basically, which is really cool. The character has some stereotypes that I'm not a fan of, but George was involved in the artistic side of things, so we'll let that slide. Um, and I was just taken aback because George is one of those classic pillars from the comic book industry. And I know his health was declining, but to get a hit like that, I can't even imagine the thought process of like we if there's one thing we know of when we're born is that we're going to go out at some point. But to actually know that it's coming, that it's happening, I don't even know how to process that. I mean, the fortitude and the mental strength and all that stuff that you'd have to have when you find out something like that, I can't even imagine being in those shoes. Um, but yeah,
I think to say on his work that there's so many like people that creators that fans and stuff will say like this, they created the like iconic vision of this character, this character, this character, but like Perez created like the iconic version of so many different characters, especially at DC.
hmm
Yeah.
And I want particularly like to mention, to talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths, because that was like when I first started really getting into reading comics. Like I started by reading just like a bunch of Batman stuff at DC. At DC, I started reading just a bunch of Batman stuff, the classic stories, reaching into other characters and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, I want to read the main event so that I can hop, through the years and understand all the main things that have happened. And so I went back and I started with Crisis on Infinite Earths. And a lot of people, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people like changing their tone now on it, but like a lot of people give that book flack for being like too dense, too much stuff going on, all that stuff. But like, I absolutely loved it, page to page, front to back. I thought that this book was the bee's knees, to not be vulgar about how amazing I thought it was. Bringing in literally like every character that I knew from my exposure to the DC universe via comics, movies, cartoons, every character that I knew, every character that I didn't know, giving me all of this exposition and information about all of them so that I could understand and enjoy this story, and giving me something that at a scope that my young self had not experienced before. And it was not just perfectly told, but even beyond perfectly illustrated. Every character being, and this is something that a lot of artists fall into, is same face, where they, people draw a lot of characters looking the exact same. But I feel like Perez had a really great ability to differentiate every character he did, and handling a book such as Crisis on Infinite Earths, where you literally are using pretty much every single character that exists at this time. He took on the huge task of like being able to draw each one of these characters, draw them individually, draw them in a way that each of them is interesting. And you can see from here, like just looking at the the action here with the anti-monitor, there's at least 20 different characters. At least I'm just glancing, at least 20 characters that are in here, and every single one of them is fully realized. It's not like when you look at some artwork where the smaller characters, the background characters, just are like dots and lines, like barely any sort of stuff. But like I have to praise like the little characters in the background flying. You see their back, but like if you know the character, you're gonna be like, oh, that's so and so, that's so and so, that's so and so.
yeah,
It's not just random bodies flying in the background. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, like the amount of detail, the amount of care that he puts into this. And with that, Perez wound up giving me, without a doubt, the iconic version of so many DC characters that I still like. His version of these characters, his illustrations of these characters are still what are in my mind today when you say these characters' names. And not only did he do that, but then over at Marvel, he then does the art for the first half of Infinity Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
So on
hmm
both sides, he's had his hand in one of the most iconic events, line-wide events, to happen at each of the major two publishers, which is
oh
just insane. And that's not even mentioning the rest of his body of work, doing everything with the New Teen Titans, stuff with the Justice League, different stuff with he did the Hulk. He did the artwork on the Future Imperfect miniseries on the Hulk. Like so much work that he's done, so much iconic work, and that like hundreds of covers
Yeah.
as well. It's just his career is just unimitable. Completely.
Looking at his bibliography, you got, just to name some companies, Boom Studios, DC, Image, Marvel. And inside those companies, you got All Star Squadron, Batman, Brave and the Bold, Crisis on Infinite Earths, DC Universe, Final Heroes Against Hunger, Thunder Agents, Wonder Woman, New Teen Titans, Justice League of America. Marvel, you got Astonishing Tales, The Avengers, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, Marvel Comics Super Special, Fanfares, Thunderbolt, Silver Surfer, Monsters Unleashed. It just goes on and on. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. It's like very rare that we get an artist these days whose career is that like. I mean, of course, I'm saying these days. This is someone who's been in the industry since when did he start working on stuff in the 70s?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, sounds about right. Let me check real quick here.
60s, 70s.
73 says his Wikipedia article. 73 and 74. So it's been a while.
His Wonder Woman stuff is gorgeous. I mean, he's got some of the most iconic fucking covers.
Oh yeah. Let me pull that image up for everybody, just to because I know we've all seen it, but it's nice to glance at it again. And a lot of his material has been collected in formats that a lot of people enjoy, from Absolutes, and Omnibus, and all that stuff.
And then, of course, he has with Kurt Busiek the Avengers JLA crossover, which is like one of the few canon crossovers between both companies.
Mm-hmm.
Now people want that stuff reprinted. Go figure. After it's been out of print for how many years now?
The last printing I think was like early 2000s, like 2005 or something.
Jesus.
For the paperback. I could be wrong because I don't have that book to check.
Cleveland Brown says, I always thought Crisis was considered a classic by many. Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. Any comic drawn by Pérez is a must-buy for me, no matter who wrote it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who like are like, oh, Crisis on Infinite Earths is too dense, too wordy, it's not exciting, whatever. And I'm like, I never like speak up because I'm like, these people have their own opinions, but like, holy butts.
Yeah. Some comments here from the chat. Kenny, Sat News. This is one of the great legendary comic book artists of all time. His work at DC and Marvel was amazing. Yep. And just the fact that, like Lou was saying earlier, that he wants to do a fan meetup, that is such an awesome thing to do.
Yeah.
For fans and for himself. You know? Like one last hoorah, if you will.
Yeah, they're saying he has 6 months to a year to live, but who knows with pancreatic cancer. Could be longer, could be shorter. So I imagine I don't know where he resides, but I imagine wherever that meetup will happen, it'll be pretty close. Gabe was very adamant, saying if it's even remotely near where he lives, then he's going to try and make the trip out there to go see him one last time. Yeah. I think that's badass, honestly, that he knows he's got an X amount of time to live, and he's basically saying, you know what? I'm just going to choose to live it the best way that I can, how I want to, and I'm just going to go hold this event with my fans to say one last goodbye to them. Jesus, man.
So out of everything that he's known for? What are some of your favorites, personal favorite stories or comics or all that stuff?
Stereotypical me, the Infinity Gauntlet stuff. I love what he did there. The Wonder Woman stuff is beautiful. I mean, yeah, that's just me being stereotypical.
I would go with the new Teen Titans. That's always been one of my. They've always been one of my favorite teams in comics, and that run is just emblematic.
I'm just gonna stick with the Crisis on Infinite Earths that I was talking about because like that book is just so crazy.
Yeah. Well, even think about the iconic cover with Superman holding Supergirl. Like
Yeah.
it's it blows. Just the man's work speaks for itself. Honestly.
Yep. Yep. Kenny says I have most of his stories. Most of the stories Perez has done, like Crisis, All for Except Final Crisis, Legion of the Three Worlds, and Infinity Gauntlet. Such a great artist. Glad I ordered the Marvel Art of George Perez book just before this sad news came out.
Also, the Avengers with Kurt Busiek, that run.
Yeah, that's a cool one too. Yep.
A lot of, just from a collector's standpoint, I mean, I imagine they're going to be putting a lot of his stuff out in collected editions and stuff. But over the next few months, you could expect a lot of the trade paperbacks and stuff like that that involve him. They're probably going to sell out and they're probably going to go quick because I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to try to meet him at an event, or they just want to appreciate his work. So,
You know what's crazy? Remember we were talking Monday about the generations comic or communities or something with we were joking about with Kripti?
mm-hmm.
I didn't know that they were putting out a remastered drawing of George with White Tiger, and that is a rare variant. And I already saw some people like asking a ton of money for that on eBay. I'm like, damn, man, people don't mess around with that stuff. Let me see if I can find that image. Hold on, Marvel. I think it was a Spanish version. Marvel Voices Communities. I don't know. Oh, here it is. Found it. Yay me. Okay. Sorry, I have like a million tabs open here.
They really haven't done anything with White Tiger since Bendis, huh?
Where did we last see his sister? I forgot her name. The latest White Tiger.
Is it Bendis?
Was she on Avengers Arena or something like that, or am I mistaken? Or Avengers Academy?
I think she was in Avengers Academy.
Yeah. So this covers, it's an older cover, but it got remastered for the Voices Community one-shot, and it's going for a lot of money, apparently. But this is a really cool cover.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Avengers Academy, Mighty Avengers, and New Avengers whenever, what's his name, Al Ewing was writing.
Nice. Crisis, Infinite Crisis, New Teen Titans, and his Wonder Woman run are my favorite pieces of Betta's art. Nice. Carlos says, I'm halfway through his Wonder Woman run, and his art keeps blowing me away with each issue. So happy I decided to read the series. Outstanding artist and writer. Amen to that. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's also not always true that you have someone who succeeds as both a writer and an artist, because so many artists try and just fumble.
Yeah.
Is Steve Orlando an artist?
Steve Orlando. I think he's. Has he done both? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he just writes. Yeah, he's just a writer and has editor credits.
Yeah, writer, editor.
Okay.
Superman with Shield and Mjolnir is the best of both universes. Legendary. Super overpowered, but yeah.
Broken. Who went? You know what? Who ended up? Did they ever? Okay, that event where it was Marvel versus DC will never happen again. Like that, it's just it won't.
Yeah. That was a product of that time. It's not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever gonna happen again.
No, there's too much red tape, especially now with the parent companies of those two companies and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
who ended up winning that? You know, I've never actually read that.
Wasn't it? For the most part, wasn't it a stalemate between both camps?
because they it was a common enemy that they had to defeat,
Hello?
and it did wind up like Superman did wind up having, like was mentioned, Cap's shield and the hammer, and delivering a pretty strong blow.
Perhaps now JLA Avengers will be re-released again. Hopefully DC and Marvel can come to an agreement. It would be cool if proceeds could go towards pancreatic cancer research. That would be fun and great. Not fun, sorry. That would be great. But I don't expect that to happen anytime soon. I mean, I even retweeted some people that were petitioning for that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. At least not this year.
Yeah, it all, like when we were talking earlier, and like Omar said, like the amount of just legal stuff that they have to get through to even begin to try and make that happen, like it would be years before it possibly happened, before it possibly came out. But and I feel kind of weird about that. Like I understand, like if it happened, like proceeds would go somewhere, but it's kind of weird that people immediately pop up and they're like, he's dying, give us the book.
Yeah, I know. I kind of felt a little bit weird by it too.
I'm like, oh man, that's terrible. Like,
it's kind of like using it as leverage.
Time left. Yeah, like he's got limited time left. I'm glad that I got to experience these things. He's made such an impact on the industry and on me and my view of the industry. And then all of a sudden, people are like, "Hey, reprint
one book."
Calm down.
An event like DC versus Marvel won't happen again, considering they're both owned by different IPs and parent companies. Yeah, basically, Disney and Warner Brothers. I don't think they're gonna play along that well.
Yeah.
I hope DC and Marvel does in their comic issues next week the one-page tribute to George Pérez. Not now, because I assume all that stuff is already printed out. Those comics for next week. But maybe next year we'll see that.
Yeah,
I'd say possibly if they want to do something, possibly next month. But I would imagine we start seeing some like variant covers, like using classic artwork and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I could totally see them doing a month of just George Perez covers, where the line wide, where you have artists that do their own interpretation of classic George Perez.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Either like using classic George Perez artwork or people recreating his classic artwork in their styles. And then they have like an image, like it'll be like to show you what it was referencing.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It's just overall super sad because it's always the good ones that this shit happens to, you know. And I don't mean bad on anybody, but like, like come on, man.
I mean,
no, don't worry about it, buddy.
Yeah, don't. Yeah,
we're talking in general, not your comment.
there's always somebody. Just keep going.
Yeah, no, don't take it the wrong way, and man, we're talking about the internet in general. You should see Twitter; it's a cesspool out there. But yeah. And anything else you guys wanted to add to the discussion?
I just saw that he's only 67. I was like, damn, man.
He's 67?
Yeah.
I thought he was a little older than that.
Yeah, I was saddened to see that he's not.
I thought it was like in his 80s at this point.
Yeah, he was
This-
recently in the Teen Titans show, with a cameo alongside Wolfman,
Mm.
which was pretty cool. I saw that they recorded that from their homes remotely, which I thought was really cool too.
They played voices.
They played themselves in the show, meeting the Titans from Teen Titans Go. And they Let me see if I can find a little drawing of them. Give me a second here. Wolfman has Teen Titans Go.
Wolfman's 75. Maybe that's why I was thinking Perez was a bit older.
How old is Wolfman?
75.
75. Okay, that checks out.
Wolfman wrote a pretty beautiful post on social media too. That choked me up a little bit. So this is a still from the episode. So
That's
they showed up,
fantastic.
and you can see the covers, the DC covers here in the background. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Teen Titans and Batman.
People give that show too much shit. It's a fun show.
Yeah, it's
I haven't
kind
watched much of it, but I feel like it seems similar to Batman Brave and the Bold, where people crapped on that show a lot because it was like it was very Silver Age, goofy, and aimed towards a younger audience, but like it was so filled with just tons of references and stuff, like deep
Yeah.
cuts.
people were upset, myself included, at the time because it wasn't season 6 of the Teen Titans show.
Right.
Because that show ended beautifully with a really somber and kind of weird series finale, and we wanted more, and we never got it. And
The
then the
Tara
next
storyline?
where she comes back at the end, but you don't know if it's like a ghost image or something, and it just ends like that with Beast Boy confused and wondering. And myself included, I was super let down. And then the next announcement, oh, Teen Titans Go, and it's all super deformed for kids with short attention spans and all that stuff. But whatever, it's still fun. It's still lighthearted superhero fun.
The movie's not bad, by the way. It's okay.
I never saw the Teen Titans Go movie.
It's not bad.
I know that Stan Lee has a cameo in that, which was hilarious. Like he was what was it? He wanted a cameo in everything, even if it was a DC property. I like Teen Titans Go. Sure, it's not the original series, but what it is, it's fine. Yeah, I grew to like it. Disney, Marvel, WB, and DC should do a TV tribute while he is with us, like a favorite salsa song from Puerto Rico says, "Que me lo den en vida." Maybe on the streaming apps, they could do something.
I mean, I imagine they're probably already planning something. So you just can't ignore something this big that hit the industry. And at least the companies have a foresight to know, okay, his time is coming soon. We should probably do something in the next few months to show the guy some love.
Yeah. Tolga, thank you for joining. Bought Wolfman translated manga from the 90s called Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I think honestly, at the bare minimum, you're going to get line wide for George Perez or something like that as a page inside one of the books.
Yeah.
At minimum. At the most, I'm expecting, I guess, variant covers.
I'd love to see the variant. I think that'd be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, like you have to think there's still companies trying to make money.
Yeah.
And I think that it would, like, thinking about the business side of it, they would be like, we can sell variant covers. I'm not saying they're sitting there like scheming like, we can sell variant covers. I'm saying like they're like, you know what, people would love to see some variants. People would love to see this artwork and be able to collect this. Like, let's go ahead and do that.
And honestly, if they really wanted to go the extra mile, those variant covers proceeds would go, or a percentage of the proceeds would go to cancer research or something like that.
They should, yeah.
Oh yeah. So that is that. Sad news, but hey, we still got the man, and we're wishing for all the best.
Spend the next however many months we still have
With love and family and peace and all that wonderful stuff. So, let's move a little bit ahead, a little lighter news item. What did you guys think of the Spider-Verse, right? Trailer that came out on the weekend, which was really random.
Yeah.
Usually you expect them to be like from Monday to Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Not on the weekend. I
guess-
think it was Saturday night. I'm like, wait, what? Spider-Verse trailer? What the hell? What's happening?
Were they trying to coincide with, there was a con, I think, in LA going on.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it was then, because I saw a lot of like content creators watching it and like reacting to it while they were at the convention. But we got Latino Spider-Man team up going on between Miles and Miguel.
Yeah, that's true. Forgot about that.
I didn't even
At
think about
least,
that.
I mean, like half Latino Spider-Mans.
Because Miguel's what? Half Mexican, half what?
I think he's Irish because it's
Irish?
Miguel O'Hara.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Irish, which you know he can drink.
No.
An Irish Mexican.
That man's liver is made out of steel.
Yeah, I'm excited. I noticed, or not noticed something. I thought of something though that like had me kind of scratching my head, like wondering if there's something about that. But like, so in the trailer, you know, like portal opens up, we see Miles chilling on the bed. He's noticeably older, like he's taller. His, you know, fade looks a little more fresh. And Gwen comes through the portal and is like, yo, you ready for your next adventure? And I didn't think about it. Like I watched the trailer a couple times and I was like, yeah, like excited like everyone else. But I was doing the dishes and I saw like a picture from it of Gwen and I was like, she still has her haircut from the first one.
The shaved head, yeah.
Yeah, and so like obviously it's been a few years for Miles, but I wonder if like it hasn't been any time at all for Gwen, because it's either like no time has passed for her, like maybe like a few months or something, because her side cut has not grown out yet, or she actually really liked the cut that she accidentally.
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, like in the movie, it was because he glued his hand got stuck and they buzzed it. It's not like she naturally had that haircut at the time, but like obviously it became kind of an iconic look for her for the movie. So I know that they probably want to return to it, but I will say, like, it made me think. It made me think, like, is there something more to it, or are they just going to be like, oh no, she just liked the haircut? But it would get them to be closer in age. I get. No, was she older than him? I think she was older than him, but acting younger.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that was what was implied.
So they'd be closer in age if that is true, which would like lead towards the possibility of them like pushing a romance between them in the movies. Which obviously, like, he seemed a little flustered, so I think he does have kind of the little spider crush on Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
But that is, I don't know, spoilers for comics from years ago. I mean, that's something that happened.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about this. We also got a title reveal, like Kenneth posted up. It's called Across the Spider-Verse, and what was the biggest surprise to me was Part 1.
Yep.
Because they are doubling down on this. Apparently, they're making both films back to back, and they must really believe in the product. I mean, it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Those guys, they never miss. I think those guys are fucking brilliant. All the stuff they do is great. They did those 21 Jump Street movies, which should not have worked
Oh my god,
at
they were
all. And they were incredible and hilarious. They did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I mean, they were working on a solo movie before Disney kicked them off stupidly. And they I think one of them, or is it both of them, worked on the last film as work. They didn't direct it, but I think they worked in production and they worked on the writing, if I'm not mistaken. At least one of them did. So I'm so looking forward to this. It's apparent Miles has a new suit,
yeah,
and I'm digging the look of this. I Here's the thing. I can't even imagine what the story is about other than him jumping across dimensions. Is it going to be tied more closely to the Spider-Verse comic? Who knows?
like
Um,
introducing the inheritors and stuff.
yeah, I'm kind of wondering maybe that's where they're going with this. I guess that would make sense.
It says here the only synopsis we have is one sentence. Miles Morales goes on an adventure across the multiverse with Gwen Stacy, Spider Woman, Miguel O'Hara, Spider Man 2099, and a new team of Spider people to face a powerful villain. And one character that we do know is coming back. Peter B. Parker is supposedly coming back as well.
Yeah.
And Jessica Drew is set to debut as well.
They're also gonna, so you can see here in the background the text on that sign. They're gonna be having the Indian Spider-Man as well. What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Avatar. I don't want to mispronounce the name, but
Yeah.
he's supposed to appear, and also Spider-Man,
Akuya.
the Sentai, Super Sentai Spider-Man.
I'm so
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
I'm so that's like I've been wanting that like to happen.
That's going to be awesome.
Like everyone else with the new Spider with No Way Home, everyone else saying like, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they're gonna be in the movie. I'm like, I don't care about them. I want the Japanese Spider-Man. Give him a cameo.
Like Leopold.
This is really a multiversal story. Like, are we really gonna stop at the two like? No offense, but like the most vanilla options to throw in there. Like, no, we got to get some other stuff in here.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
excited
think
they're here.
I think he's going to replace Penny Parker in that role of the mecha.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
I wonder if we're gonna get any more, because I imagine Spider-Ham. Like, you got to bring back Spider-Ham. He was such a fan favorite.
Spider-Man
last
Noir, man.
I could see. Well, Nick Cage will do just about anything at this point for a paycheck. So yeah, they probably bring him back on cheap.
I don't think it takes much.
It doesn't take much. It takes a $6 and $5, and he'll show up to do a voiceover.
There's supposed to still also be a Spider-Woman spin-off with
Right. They're
Gwen,
supposed to be doing that.
Jessica, and Silk.
So, who would you guys like to see to pop up in this aside from the ones that we've already said?
I want to see Silk because she's my favorite out of the Spider Verse mythology.
Silk is cool.
Silk and ooh, they could do manga verse Spidey. I'd like to see that
That'd be cool.
with the
Um,
boots.
I'd like to see the. So I'd like to see the bad guy actually be like a bad Spider-Man, like a bad
Mhm.
version of Peter from another timeline. We find out like he went through some baloney that made him mean.
Okay.
And so I don't know who exactly that would be, but like we've seen, like there was the
Bloodline Spider-Man.
there's the there's the Spider-Man that like was in the, what was it called, Identity Wars, where he had like a cape and stuff, and he like was not exactly nice. So I guess that could be something. I know a lot of people want to see Spider-Punk show up. I think his
Yes.
could fit
I,
really
th-
well.
I think if they don't have Spider-Punk, I mean, the costume is in the game. I think if they don't have Spider-Punk, that's a missed opportunity in this.
They could straight up have the video game Spider-Man in there too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the video game Spider-Man showed up in the comics. He showed up in Spider-Geddon, and it was like legitimately supposed to be the same character from the game. So like in the games, he's supposed to have had that experience now, like doing the Spider-Geddon stuff.
You guys, Spider-Punk Henry Rollins. Let's make it happen. Come on. Although no, Spider-Punk is black. They wouldn't do that.
Superior Spider-Man.
Superior would be fun.
Superior Spider-Man. You know, they could do, because people were saying Scarlet and Ben Reilly, like that could be the bad one, because it could be like, oh, he's a Peter, but then it's like actually he's a Ben. And that's the whole time. He has blonde hair. He wasn't a Peter at all.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
I just spoiled the movie for everyone.
Well, okay, so it's two parts. So if we're going with the traditional two-part thing, this has to end on a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
In order to bring you into the second one. So typically when it's this, the cliffhanger is when the hero is at his lowest, and then you got to go, holy crap, how are they going to come back from this? And then they come back to the next film, and that's where they do the redemption arc. So I'm kind of curious, because Miles really doesn't have stories that are like that, at least off the top of my head.
What if the cliffhanger is that the story's somewhat loosely based on the Clone Saga, and we get 90s Kane alongside Ben Reilly as henchmen for the main villain or something like that? I don't know. I just want to see 90s Kane because I do like that costume.
The one like with the long hair and like the
long hair and the tattered,
big purple cloak.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look like in the trailer that Miguel is fighting Miles? It doesn't look like they're doing this. It looks like they're going at it.
I got that sentiment as well. Yeah, it looks like he's or chasing after him aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it's like just because he's never experienced someone popping in from another universe, and so it's odd for him. And then maybe Miles is just like, no, I have to recruit you because we're fighting against blank.
Yeah.
But also on the back on my thing about Gwen's hair, obviously they can go through like to different time periods because 2099 and then Spider-Man Noir is supposed to be from like the 50s, so each dimension doesn't necessarily have to be set in, you know, the modern era.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm again wondering, like, did she like go back home and then pop through a portal like a day later? And she's like, "Oh, Miles, you're an adult now." Hubba.
Well, I'm actually more excited, and I was really excited for the new Spider. I'm more excited for this than Far From Home or No Way Home, whatever the hell the Homeward Bound.
Did you see the new posters for
oh
the Spider-Man movie?
God. That shit is terrible.
Let me get that.
That looks like something you'd give an A to in a 9th grader in their first Photoshop project.
I don't know what is happening.
Yeah.
Good job, Billy. You used the blending tool really well on this one. Great job.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about those posters, as bad as they are, the Green Goblin still hasn't reached his destination in all the posters. He's always super far away. I'm like, bro, what's happening here?
He's getting closer and closer as the
Closer
movie.
and
I think
closer.
it's also the exact same little snip of the Green Goblin. Like they're not using different images.
Nope.
Why would they keep him so far away from the foreground of the image, though?
These are terrible.
Because it's not like they're trying to keep it a secret that he's in there anymore. Like,
no, he's Defoe's already gone on interviews and talked about it. So, and then look at this one.
Ooh, boy.
I mean, what is happening here? My dude is opening a portal in the same area. He's not. I mean, is he transporting himself in the same street?
You can see how poorly, like, it's clipping on with his feet on there. He's not standing on the street. He's not even standing flat anywhere.
This shit is terrible. Oh, if I was Benedict, I would make a phone call to my lawyer to like, what the fuck is this shit, guys?
For sure.
these are official posters, by the way. This isn't fan edited. These are you walk into your movie theater, you might see this in the theater. Riley,
Come on, guys. Henry Abrams is new to Blender.
What about what movie theater?
Riley, would you put this up in your movie theater?
Hell no. Hell no. I'd be like, if I was still working in the theater and they were like, put the posters out, and I'd be like, is this seriously the only one you have for Spider-Man? Can you show me what else you got? And they show me like the other ones, I'd be like, I'm not putting a poster up for Spider-Man. But it's one of the biggest releases of the whole year. Yeah, it sells itself. I'm not gonna like downplay it with this baloney.
Yeah. Looks like he's doing jazz hands there. Jazz hands.
It looks like Benedict was just standing somewhere and like didn't know that he was going to get his picture taken. And then they just snapped it real quick like on the iPhone and then like clipped it out. This one is like would be an actually like much better poster
without the double D's
cinema in the back.
Without the double D's. Yeah, that thing is terrible.
It looks like he has wings now.
Because it's like it's the perspective
I
upside down.
See it, Gio. Oh my god, he does look like he has wings. I can't see it.
Butterfly Spider-Man.
Yeah. Everything else, like the upside down buildings, the perspective is changed, so it gives you that like you can see in the background underneath the buildings, like it's another city down there, so it has the kind of Inception folding in on itself, like you know what's happening there. And then like with Spider-Man just kind of thrown on there, they could have used a better image of Spider-Man, but the D's just completely kill it. And they like made the D's in the same style as the logo, as the title for Spider-Man, like it's the blue surrounded by the red with like the kind of scaly look on it. So it's like someone put work into actually putting those D's in the background. Someone thought that was a great idea.
Then you had the character posters for the villains. Let me show those off.
Oh Jesus, yeah. You know they really didn't put any work into these. They really didn't, because they knew the movie's going to sell itself.
They're banking on freaking nostalgia of people going, because everybody's going to show up in that movie.
The movie poster could just be, honestly, a Post-it note that says Spider-Man No Way Home, and people will be, yeah, we're going.
This looks like it was an image from a cutscene from Infamous Second Son.
Yeah.
That's straight, like that's not even Jamie Foxx's actual face. That's just straight up Photoshop image.
Yeah. Is that the arc reactor? Is that what he's got in his chest?
I think so.
Yep. Supposedly that's what a lot of people. I mean, you can see it looks really similar to it.
Can I say one thing? They need to get fucking away from Tony Stark and Peter Parker. They need to start distancing that, because it's in every single of the movies, and now it's starting to get to the point where it's like he's not even becoming his own Spider-Man to me yet.
Yeah, and that's also with Doc Ock. Like Doc Ock's arms and stuff, you see the red go on it in that second trailer. It's Stark Tech. It's Stark Tech going on to his arms, and it's like, come on, man. And the whole, that's one of the things that like I'm really worried about how this movie is actually going to turn out, because like you said, he's not being able to become his own Spider-Man. And now like the movie where he would finally, like the third movie, his first trilogy wrapping up, he'd finally be going off on his own, and then supposedly he's going to be needing help from two other Spider-Men. So it's like you're still telling us he can't do it on his own.
Yeah.
To be fair, I know this one's pretty bad too. I kind of like this one.
This is the best one.
This is the best of the three. Yeah.
It's the best of the three because it doesn't have like an actual human face on it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the big news. If you guys want to cover it. Jesus Christ, I can't talk tonight. Charlie Cox, Daredevil.
Oh, the worst kept secret? Yeah.
Yeah, the worst kept secret. I think Kevin Feige just threw up his arms in the air and said, fine, fuck it. Yes, okay, Charlie Cox. If we do a Daredevil, we'll be Daredevil. There you go.
I mean, we all knew it was going to happen. So essentially, the Daredevil show is still canon in the MCU. So that's great.
So that it leads towards the idea then of like if what's going to happen in the currently ongoing show
Be
next
right back.
You still there?
Yeah.
Okay. What were you saying?
So Daredevil,
Sorry, I'm
that
back.
news about like if Daredevil appears in the MCU, he will be played by Charlie Cox. The timing of the movie, that information coming out, the movie Spider-Man movie, and the certain show that we have going on now, and the rumors that are coming out about what's going to happen in next week's episode of said show, a lot of similar things tying together.
I thought the exact same thing you thought. If the rumored person, I know we're speaking vaguely, if the rumored person is supposed to be in next week's episode of Hawkeye, that ties in wonderfully with Spider-Man showing up, the No Way Home,
Yep.
in the movie the very next day. That's the
Yeah,
1-2 punch
exactly.
that if they plan that right, and if it does happen, that's going to be a hell of a 1-2 punch, and that'll work.
I don't think so. I think that rumor fell flat.
I think you get one of them. I don't think you get both,
Okay.
and I don't think it's the Hawkeye one.
Yeah.
I'm 80% sure on the Spider-Man one. I'm like almost I'm doubting the Hawkeye one.
Can we put up like a potential spoilers so we can
Okay.
discuss this?
Artsmeet Pete, I hope you're not in here because I know he got mad at us last time. We're gonna do it again, buddy. We're gonna spoil some stuff.
We're
It's
gonna
not
talk
really
about.
spoilers.
I would talk about Hawkeye, like talk about the show a little bit and like what supposedly we're getting and what I've heard about it.
Hawkeye.
I haven't seen the newest
So
episode, by the way. I didn't see the one today.
Do you want to not talk about anything of this one's that one?
I don't really care. I've been enjoying it, and I will say that this is probably my favorite one since WandaVision. I've really been digging it.
Yeah. So Kingpin possibly next week is basically what we're very terribly vaguely alluding at. And what I've heard is like that they're trying to like CG him to where Vincent D'Onofrio is actually big.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm like, like that doesn't it either I'm like, no, please don't do that because it would look goofy as hell, or that's what's making me think that that's not actually true. But the timing, like you said, is immaculate. Like if both of those things happened, because it's Wednesday Kingpin, Thursday Matt Murdock. I'm not even going to say Daredevil, but Matt Murdock. 2 days in a row, two things.
I am
boom.
almost 100% sure Matt Murdock is in that film. It makes sense. I'm almost certain. And I said this years ago. The way to introduce Matt Murdock is you make him Peter's lawyer for this movie. I said this years ago, and if I am right, God damn it, Disney, you owe me a check.
And if Matt Murdock is Peter's lawyer, then whoever is like the opposing lawyer, the opposing team, the lawyer needs to be Jen Walters, just so we can have that as like a kind of lead into
that'd be fun. Yeah,
having
cool.
Jen and stuff. But yeah, like I really hope that if the Kingpin rumors are true, they don't freaking make him goofy and large and stuff. Like Vincent D'Onofrio was great. Yeah, he wasn't giant, but I mean, how are you going to have someone that realistically is the same size as Wilson Fisk?
Yeah.
And not just be goofy as hell?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think we're gonna get. I think the odds of us getting Kingpin are very small. Matt Murdock, I'm almost certain he has to be in this because there's been too much stuff that has leaked. And Kevin Feige this week just finally going, yes, God damn it, if we do Daredevil again, it's gonna be Charlie Cox. There you go.
But we did get this week's Hawkeye did have another reveal. Did have someone else show up.
Oh, I already know. I already know that. That's
So
the big
that one was the one that like everyone knew was going to happen, but it
Yeah.
happened at the end of the episode, and I thought that the Kingpin rumor was for this week's episode, and so I was sitting there like I got up early to put the show on. I'm like, all right, and then I'm like, I don't think we're getting that in this one because I was excited either way, like whether it was right or wrong. If it was right, cool. If it was wrong, I was gonna go like shit on the people that told me it was gonna happen. Be like, you liar, you stupid. Because I know people are going to do that because I've been harping multiple times about like how I think we're going to possibly get like Ned as Hobgoblin in Spider-Man.
Oh my God! Please don't. Jesus.
And
He is not a
once
slim guy. Can you imagine him on that glider?
have you seen though
Wait, no,
his
he has lost weight. He has lost a lot of weight.
like he's gained it back. Like he got like he was ripped at one point.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like if you there's this picture he's looking
Really?
like
Good for him.
super like fit and swagged out. Like he's got this like beanie on and he like has kind of this look on his face. I'm like, bro, there's no way. But he posted like several pictures in a row of him like really small. This was like last year. And then he gained weight again because people were like, he didn't lose the weight for like everyone kept telling me like because I said like look, he lost all that weight. It's not for nothing. They're like he did it for his health. And I'm like, he gained the weight back. He wouldn't just like lose it and gain it and lose it and gain it if it wasn't for a purpose because that's not healthy. And my idea, and it might be the stupidest, most off base, completely wrong idea in the world, is that we are going to see like a variant of him that would be bad, or something happens because of XYZ in the movie and he winds up there's him as Hobgoblin. If it doesn't happen, that's not the thing that's going to break the camel's back and make me not like the movie. I'm going to be like, dang it, I was wrong, but I'm not going to be like, fuck you, Marvel, I can't believe you made me wrong. Like, no, that's not, I don't care if my theories are not correct.
This is why I only read old comics.
Yeah. Flash Thompson's going to become Venom in the movie, and then
James has a good point. So you telling me you don't want an Into the Spider-Verse Kingpin in the MCU? That huge ass brick.
The Sienkiewicz looking one.
His head like here and his back all the way up here.
Yeah. I always thought Brendan Fraser could be Kingpin. Look, recent pictures. Plus, he is 6'3".
Well, Fraser is doing that for a role. He's put on a lot of weight for a role that he's doing with
the Whale. I think it's
the Whale. Yeah.
And he's in the DC universe, so sorry.
He's already two characters in DC.
Yep.
He's in the shows and he's in the
DC EU or whatever.
I don't know. I couldn't see Brendan Fraser as the Kingpin because he's too like
wholesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have that in his face. Like Vincent D'Onofrio, every role of his, like
it has to be D'Onofrio. Sorry,
it's got to be D'Onofrio.
There's a darkness in his eyes.
Well, they've said that they would. Brendan Fraser has said he'd come back for a Mummy 4, and I'm like, yes, please, yes, let's do another one. I'm sure. I mean, he could lose the weight and stuff like that. The issue is with his back. He'd have to get a stunt double and everything like that. But you know, he could.
I mean, if we're getting an Indiana Jones 5, it can happen.
Christ. Yeah.
Real quick, this is something that I want to talk about before I forget. My bad. Sort of jumping themes here, topics. Did you guys see the teaser from Media Blasters yesterday? People went wild with that stuff.
The what?
With Media Blasters, with their tweet. I'm just going to share the freaking tweet here. And give me a second here. This is totally unrelated from comics. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to mention it on this episode.
Real quick, Carlos says, Charles Barkley would be a great Kingpin. Now, Daredevil, don't you go do that.
Don't you go do that, Daredevil. Yeah, Media Blasters. I'm just going to post this and leave right here. That is all I'm going to do. Nothing, zero, zip, nada. So Media Blasters got their hands on the Kamen Rider license.
Fuck yeah.
And they're going to be putting out, friggin' finally, Kamen Rider Blu-rays. I'm super
Wow.
stoked for that. I want to get them. So so yeah, Zio, at least Kamen Rider Zio, which I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's Zio. That's one of the fan favorite movies. I'll definitely get that for sure.
I wonder if we could wind up after or before the Across the Spider-Verse wind up seeing the Japanese Spider-Man uh, streaming or released physically somewhere, because I don't know. It's been forever since it's been anywhere.
There's nowhere to see it.
Not legally, I don't think.
Not that yeah.
They had a one of those shows on Disney Plus about it, and it
Is that-
showed like sequences and stuff.
He has a fucking mecha, which is just awesome.
Yeah, man. He's the progenitor of that also. Like, it came before the Super Sentai series with
Yeah.
that became Power Rangers. Without the Japanese Spider-Man, we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have the Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, you know it. So yeah, any other news topics that you guys wanted to mention before we start wrapping things up? By the way, did you buy anything for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that stuff? Because there were a lot of, because I see Kenny talking about 4Ks. There are a lot of good deals out there.
I usually, like, the past several years, would buy a lot of movies on Black Friday, but I did not get the chance to this year. Like, I was busy. Like, Thanksgiving. Did y'all notice, like, this year, Thanksgiving Day, nothing opened? Like, everything, they waited until the morning of Friday.
I didn't pay attention to anything. I was busy moving.
Everything
in the past, oh, that's right. But in the past years, like, all the stores, Best Buy, Target, etc., like, they would be open on Thanksgiving Day from, like, 6 p.m. or something. And so everyone would rush over and get there first thing. But, like, when we were leaving to go visit my family, my wife was like, nothing's open on Thanksgiving. Everything's open on Friday. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I was busy. I was working on Friday, so I couldn't go shopping. But she went with my mom and got, Christmas presents, like video games and stuff for people. So,
spoilers for your peeps. Somebody's getting video games for Christmas.
Ooh.
I got some Black Friday manga, though, and some holiday sale from Right Stuff.
I did not. The only thing I got was the Darkstalkers manga, which looks really good. A lot better than I was expecting. I kind of blind bought it for the hell of it, and I really like the art. This thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it crosses over with Red Earth, which is, if you want to talk obscure Capcom games, Red Earth is one of those. But the art it's all right. I like it. I don't know what the hell's happening in this yet. I haven't read it, but look at that freaking lion right there. It's pretty dope. Red Earth is another game that I wish were readily available, but it's not. Here's Morrigan, which I know has a heavy fan base, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for anybody wondering, because we do talk about video games on Wednesday, we're not going to talk about the what was it, the Video Game Awards, because that's tomorrow.
Nope.
Yeah. So I got that. Let me remind you, gang, that this episode is brought to you in part by our wonderful sponsor, InStockTrades.com. IST, your home for all things collected editions, whether it's an omnibus, hardcover, manga, trade paperback, any of the books that we talked about today, from the George Pérez material to Spider-Man stuff, all that, you can find it by visiting instocktrades.com. Up to 50% off, loyalty discounts, tack on an extra 2% to that. And if you order $50 or more in your order, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service and most excellent of packaging. That's In Stock Trades. And of course, they also provide a monthly gift card. We do that giveaway at the end of the month, open to international waters. Everybody can participate. That's all courtesy of our sponsor, InStockTrades.com. Also, Lou, can you tell everybody about the Patreon? We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, man. So patreon.com/omnibroslive. You can find that down below in the description, where for $5 a month, that is for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support Gabe and I as we do a show once a month with you guys. How it works is for $5 a month, you get exclusive access to our archive of old videos, and once a month, we send you guys a direct link to join us in kind of a semi-Zoom hangout, kind of like what we're doing here right now. Only you get to actually control the conversation, and you get to chat with us one-on-one. We have about a year's worth of archives. We have about a year's worth of videos in that Patreon that you get also access to. So you get to go back, and there is a lot of good content in there. There is literally hours and hours and hours of video that you guys are not getting on the main channel, and it's located at patreon.com. In fact, I got to get with Gabe and talk to him about when we could do that this month. I know it's been super busy for the both of us, but we are planning for a hangout before the end of the month, and we would love to have you guys on.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I got a question from N-Man. The Super Sentai Spider-Man came before the original Super Sentai series in Japan. I thought it was around the same time, but interesting to know that the Spidey show came first. Yeah. So it was kind of a trailblazer with the Sentai and Tokusatsu stuff and all that. Riley, did your wife get a cake or presents for did get you a cake for completing the Shonen Jump collection?
No, she doesn't care about that.
That's perfect. I love that.
Like, I finally get to stop hearing you talk about trying to collect
Shonen Jump, Jesus, Shonen Jump.
So out of curiosity, was it kind of a bittersweet thing, or were you like, well, I climbed on my mountain, now what?
It's like when it was such a pain in the ass to get the last few books, because like it was just like things that I kept thinking I had it, and then like, you know, order canceled, or they sent me something in the wrong language or whatever. And I finally just like, when I finally got it, it was almost like it was relief, but like it was just like, finally, Jesus Christ, like I'm done. Like I can put this on the shelf. It's done. I don't have to use filler books anymore. I don't have to do this, that, and this. Like it was just really, really great to finally have that done. So and now like looking back at it, it was like, originally I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go from that now that I'm done with that, and I'm just gonna, you know, chill out and just get you know, the recent releases and stuff like that. And then I just fell right back into like other things.
And the thing is, you're still going to continue because there are more books coming out for Shonen Jump, so the collection's going to keep growing anyway.
I feel like a lot of people, because I made the video about it, and like people, when I talked about it, and I'm like, I collected everything, there was a lot of comments where people are like, yeah, but there's more coming out. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not done. I'm not just saying like, all right, well, I got everything through the end of 2021 and that's it, and then 2022 and onward, fuck them. Like, no, I'm gonna continue buying these series. It's stuff that I'm reading. I'm not just gonna stop reading these titles in the middle of the run. But it like, now I'm like hopping over to other lines and stuff, and I'm like,
Don't do it, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like I'm just looking at stuff and being like, what do I actually want? Because there's a lot of things from these other lines that I'm like, eh. But I am trying to try out a lot of new things that I've got my eyes on. So there's still a lot for me to find, a lot for me to do. But the funny thing, I'm trying to think about how to frame a certain video to follow up on this, because there's a lot of misconception that people have. Because so I loaded the video and it's like I have everything, and then like one guy he commented, your title's misleading, and I was like,
Ow.
how? And he's like, because I didn't collect. Basically, it's like you're talking only about the stuff from the Viz Media Shonen Jump line. I'm like, yeah, because that's literally. And I told him the first 4 seconds of my video, I state I collected everything in Viz Media's Shonen Jump line, because there are a bunch of series that were part of the Shonen Jump magazine in Japan that are not in that line, and so I clarified, like, I'm not talking about those. I have most of them, but I'm not talking about them.
Too bad, Riley. Your accomplishment means nothing. There you go.
Yeah.
The presents were the books themselves. Nice.
It was the books we made along the way. But then a lot of other people are like, one person goes, "You forgot about Case Closed," and I'm like, Case Closed is not a Shonen Jump title; it's a Shonen Sunday title. People are like, "What about Inuyasha?" Inuyasha is not. So it's like constantly me correcting people. Should I make a video like letting everyone know, like, so these are this and these, and some of them I understand, because people are like, well, what about Hell's Paradise? Because that series was is part of the Shonen Jump, or the Jump Plus magazine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it is Jump Plus. So I understand why that's confusing, because like there's like 7 Jump Plus series that are in the Jump line from Viz, but then there are like another 7 that are in other lines, and I'm like, well, I have those, but they're not part of the Shonen Jump line. They're on the other shelf with the signature line. So like Hell's Paradise, Fire Punch. So there's a lot of people that are making, like, it's understandable. One guy just literally during the show commented and said, I not see Captain Tsubasa. Like, well, Melbert Nubio, that's because Captain Tsubasa's never been released in English.
It's never been released. I think they take things too literal.
Yeah.
And they see collected everything. They're expecting you to own the Japanese releases, the US releases, which is unrealistic.
Because you wouldn't have a house.
Well, that's
you need a house just for
like,
the
I
collection.
had to specify, like, in the description and in the whatever. But even then, like, if I meant that, in Japan the line is called Jump Comics. It's not called Shonen Jump.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's just the misconception or whatever. And I like, it's more been funny, like, seeing the people, like, some of them, like I said, it's honest mistake. Like they're like, well, I thought this was in that. Like, yeah, it is. It's just it's under a different line. But some of them, people are like trying to get testy with me, and they're like, well, you don't have this one. It's like, yeah, because that's not part of it.
The internet is filled with weird people. That's what I've learned over the years. Everybody's weird on the internet.
Hasn't like taken off yet. Usually like take off happens once it gets to like the first full week, and then all of a sudden like it starts going crazy. Because that was the last video I had that did well, was when I talked about like topic of, is Shonen Jump canceling too many manga, and I presented that with all kinds of data and said, like, it's the same as it's always been. If not, they're doing less now than they ever had before. And that one, it did well for like the first week, and then once it hit the second week, it just shot up, and it went from like 20K to 40K, and now it's at 60,000 views. This one from yesterday is at 16,000, and so like once it does that similar like hop in views, the only reason I'm talking about this is because then I'm gonna start getting a lot of comments from people who are like, "You're a liar. You didn't have this random ass series that no one's ever heard of, that's never been released anywhere except for Japan, that you don't have it." And I'm going to be like, well, that's because I'm only collecting the stuff that's in English, but thank you for playing.
Yeah. Also, yeah, people don't have any attention span. They're just going to look at the title and go straight to the video, not going to read anything, any descriptions. So, yeah, you're going to need an annotated version of your video. Put a second video up explaining things, like a commentary video on the actual
I wish that we had the ability to do like reply videos like back in the day on
Oh,
YouTube,
those were great. Yeah.
because then it could be like replying to everyone's comment. Like if someone's like, "What about Zatch Bell?" and then I grab my copies of Zatch Bell and I'm like, they're not part of the same
They're
line.
not part of the line. Yeah.
That'd be fun. I would have like 50 videos of me just like showing people.
There you go. Well, that's about it, gang. I got to go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsor for helping us out, as always. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Riley's not going to be on, right? You're not going to be on tomorrow?
I will not. I still don't know if I'm leaving tomorrow night or Friday morning, but I am going on a super special secret trip.
Secret mission. You're on assignment. Can't say anything yet.
I'm on assignment.
So if I do a random manga video or a comic book video, you're just going to have to tune in. But I'm going to be on tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. One of the two. Could be a crazy show. You'll have to tune in to find out. Yeah, that's that. Omnibus Collector, where can people find you on the internet?
Omnibus Collector on YouTube, where you can see the video I was just clowning about, and then Instagram, where you can see me literally just post the thumbnails of my videos, and TikTok, where you can get tons of fun. That TikTok I have a lot of fun on, make a lot of like both comic and manga content, so have a lot of fun with that app.
Nice. Comics Guide, what about you? Where can people find you?
You'll find me at Comics Guide 101 on Twitter and on YouTube. That is the best place to get a hold of me.
Nice. All right. Don't find me anywhere. That's about it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to the chat, as always. Thank you for everybody watching later. If you're watching this later, let us know what are some of your favorite George Pérez books, what you thought of the Spider-Verse trailer, all that fun stuff. Leave those comments down below. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow with another video. Peace out.
Good night, everyone.